Okay, so this is the tray I'm going to be using. Now this is 20 by 20 centimeters or 8 by 8 inches. So the right amount to fill that perfectly is sugar. We're going to have 200 grams of brown sugar. We're going to move on to our butter. We're going to have 310 grams of butter. Our oats, we're going to have 550 grams of porridge oats. And then we're going to move on to syrup, golden syrup. We're going to have 6 tablespoons of golden syrup. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get some grease-proof paper for your tray. Just cut that out. Just do it like that, it's fine. Once you put the porridge oats in there, it's all going to stick in place. And then we're going to move on, get the butter straight into the pan. So first thing we're going to do, I'm going to stir that in. Just wait for that all to melt in. I'll come back in a minute once it's all melted in. Okay, so that butter is all melted, looking lovely. Just going to take off the heat for a moment. I'm going to get the sugar. And then what we're going to do is just gradually add that sugar in and stir. So I'm just going to do bit by bit. So it's all gone. Okay, great. So it's all the sugar slowly mixed in while stirring. Temperature again, just want to keep it low. I've got it on a 3. Just going to gradually do it. Just take time. Okay, my favourite part is the golden syrup, so we're going to add 6 tablespoons of golden syrup now, guys. Okay, so it's going to be difficult to do one-handed, so just bear with me while I add 6 tablespoons of golden syrup. Okay, so I've just added the 6 tablespoons of the golden syrup because I like my flapjack syrupy. All right. So I'm just going to stir it now. I'll turn the heat up a bit. To just above 5. Now you want to keep the heat on, keep stirring it until it bubbles a bit, so it's at boiling point, and then turn the heat off, let it sit for a minute, and then we will gradually add the porridge oats. Alright, we'll be back in a second. Cool, alright, so that's bubbling now, we're at boiling point, so I'm just going to turn the heat off, stir it. I'm actually going to take it off the heat altogether. Just going to let that sit for a minute before we add our porridge oats. Okay, it's time to add the porridge oats now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to gradually add these bit by bit and stir, and then keep on stirring. Alright, so I'll do that and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Again, I'm doing this by myself one-handed. I don't have a tripod, unfortunately. Alright, back in a second. Okay, so I've mixed in all the porridge oats and it's looking lovely and it wants to look nice and gooey, which it is. I add the porridge oats gradually in 3 attempts and then blend it all in. So next thing I'm going to do is put this in the tray. But what you want to do is get the oven on. Now I've got a fan oven, so I'm just going to put this at 180 and it's going to go in there between 15 and 18 minutes. Alright guys. Okay, so I've just put that in the pan and then I'll just flatten it down with a wooden spoon. As you can see, that's perfect amount for that size of tray. I've made them before and the measurements have been not correct for the tin or the tray. So as a trick, you can just add the porridge oats to the tray until you get about roughly the right height where you want it. Measure that amount of oats and then just do the calculations for the sugar and the butter and the syrup. But that's a 20 by 20, 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters, or 8 inches by 8 inches. So that's going to go in the oven now, and then between 15 and 18 minutes later, I'm going to bring it out, let it cool down, slice it up, and then you can add chocolate if you want. I will be adding chocolate, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so it was 16, just after 16 minutes in the end. Yeah, you want it just the edges are brown like that, you know, just nice. That's perfect. So if you're having it by itself, you just let that cool down, slice it up. It's that'll do 12 pieces easily. Yeah, cut it up, cool down, and enjoy. If you're going to be adding chocolate like I am, you got to let that cool down. Try and put it on something, you know, it's not touching the table. About 15-20 minutes, let that cool down, and then I'll show you how to add the chocolate. All right. Okay, so we're going to be adding the chocolate. So, the pan first. Just put some water in there, just a little bit, just so you're not going to destroy the pan when it heats up. Get a bowl, glass bowl's fine. Chocolate, put the chocolate aside. I mean, I've got just some cheap milk chocolate, 135 grams. Just chop it up and put that over the heat, and yeah, let that melt, and then we'll spread it on top of our flapjacks. All right, here we go. Okay, so put that over the hobs, and then just wait for that to excuse me, melt and stir in, and I'll come back once it's all melted and show you the next steps. Okay, so that's all melted in now, which is fantastic. So all I'm going to do next is I'm going to squirt 3 squirts of, alright, sunflower oil. Just 3 squirts of that. You might be thinking, why is he adding oil to the chocolate? Well, basically, when that sets on top of the flapjacks, it's just going to make it easier to cut and slice up. We don't want it setting rock hard, that we find it hard to cut through. So I'm just going to pour that on top of the flapjacks now. Okay, so I'll just evenly spread that on top of the flapjack. Just get all the corners, every little area you can. Let that cool down, and then you can cut it into pieces. You want to cool down even quicker, just let it set there for a little bit, then put it in the fridge, and then cut it up into, you should be able to get 12 pieces out of that. Next thing you need to do, which is quite fun, is just let the bowl and the chocolate and the spoon cool down, and then enjoy. All right, I'll come back in a bit when it's all set, and I'll cut it up into 12 pieces, and I'll show you what it looks like. Try it out, guys. Hope you enjoy. Cheers.